The Lakers squeeze out a tough win against the Knicks at home, and there might be a little bit of off-the-court drama between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. So as you can see here in this clip, obviously LeBron James he had some words for Stephen A. Smith and he was not happy, right? Clearly he had some pretty choice words for Stephen A. And we don't know exactly what they talked about. I mean, this happened last night. And just to clear this up, I saw a lot online that people were saying this happened after the game. That's actually not true. So this happened around the time where the fan hit the half-court shot for the 100K. Shout out to that fan, by the way. That's actually pretty dope. But yeah, so just wanted to clear that up. And last night it was all guessing and rumors and about what they talked about. But this morning we did get some clarity from Stephen A. Smith himself. Let's listen to what he had to say.
To have LeBron look at me the way that he did, for me to be a father of two daughters, for me to know what fathers, how much love fathers have for their children, it was all about his son. It was almost as if he was saying, you know, you and I, because he and I don't necessarily vibe, it's high and by, we keep it moving. Keep that between me and you. Almost as if he was thinking that anything that I said about Bronny was a result of him. And in that situation, again, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was really talking about him.
All right, so you guys get the gist of it. I mean, by all means, if you want to go ahead and watch the full take, please go ahead and do so that way you get to hear everything that he had to say. But the long and short of it is, obviously, he's in the business of journalism. It's his job to cover the sport and kind of things that happen in that space. And he did kind of mention that he wanted to level with LeBron James as a father. He kind of understood where LeBron was coming from and why he was upset. And it was pretty much all about his son, right? You know, just keep this between me and you, more or less. And I just want to throw my 2 cents in there, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the game last night, because it was a hell of a game and it was a great win by the Lakers. Stephen A. Smith and people like him that are on these widespread platforms, and they do this for a living. What I've noticed is that they have to keep a fine line between covering whatever they're covering, whatever sport, topic, whatever, and then balancing entertainment. And I do find that sometimes they lean a little too much into the entertainment side. Everybody can have fun, right? Entertainment it's the world that we live in. And I do it myself, right? You guys see me, I make funny memes and stuff like that. I just made one last night poking fun at Charles Barkley because he keeps talking smack about the Lakers. But at the end of the day, there are some takes that are just borderline reckless when it comes to just being disrespectful towards another player or towards their son in this situation, or at least that's how it was interpreted. And first and foremost, I just want to say that if you guys, I make it a point as a content creator never to go that far. I always want to keep a level of respect within my content, and I, for the most part, try to keep it basketball. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys ever see me, you know, approaching that, please call me out in the comment section, please, because that is the last thing that I want to do. We can have fun, we can entertain, but at the end of the day, you have to be respectful to your audience and to the people that you speak about, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't matter. And, you know, one thing that we know here in America is that we do have freedom of speech, right? But freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. So when you tip a little too far into that entertainment side, you're going to have to answer to somebody, because it's going to be seen as disrespectful. I mean, we've watched it. We saw it on TV where it's like, yo, that's wild. Like, what are we talking about right now? And obviously LeBron James, he saw him at the game, and he had some words for him, and he got it off his chest. So at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. Hopefully they can clear this up, because we never want to see, or at least I don't want to see it get to this level. It's a sport. Basketball is an amazing game. We love to cover it. And this off the court stuff is just, at the end of the day, it's nonsense, man. Keep it respectful. Understand that you have a responsibility, yes, to cover the sport as a journalist, but at the end of the day, you are talking about another human being, and you have to consider how they feel about it. So it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. All right, that's just all I have to say about that. So anyway, let's talk some basketball. Great win from the Lakers last night, man. It was a hard-fought game. In overtime, the Lakers beat the Knicks 113 to 109. And from the start, it was just rough. You could just tell it wasn't going to be a smooth game. And the Lakers were behind most of the game. We weren't hitting our shots. The rhythm was off. The energy was low. And you just knew that, one, it felt like a game that we might let slip away, or two, somebody was going to have to step up or something was going to have to happen to change the energy on this team in order to pull out this W. And honestly, that's kind of what happened. I think this was one of, if not the most important win of the season so far. And I'll get into as to why a little bit later in the video. But for now, like I said, the Lakers scored 113 points. We held the Knicks to 109, which isn't bad considering the game went to overtime. But it gives you some insight as well into how poorly we were shooting the ball. The offense just couldn't get going. But with that being said, we really kind of leaned into our stars on this game. They did pretty much the heavy lifting. If you look at LeBron James, he finished the game with 31 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 block. He only had 1 turnover, which I love to see. LeBron's turnovers have been a little out of control lately. And the fact that he was able to keep that to just 1 was amazing. He wasn't giving the ball to the other team. He shot 7 of 8 from the free throw line, only 2 of 8 from 3. That gives you some insight, again, into just how poorly we were shooting from beyond the arc. He did shoot 11 from 23 from the field, which isn't bad. And he did play a total of 44 minutes. And of course, we had Luka Doncic, who finished the game with 32 points. He had 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, 5 turnovers. But again, harping back on these steals, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Luka Doncic. He's always been kind of crafty on both ends of the floor. Obviously, we know what he does on the offensive end. But I think his ability to just be handsy on the defensive end is a bit underrated, but we're really seeing it in the purple and gold. I mean, he's had 4 steals this game. The other game, I believe he had 4. The one before that, he had like 5. His hands are active, man. And he's really making his presence felt on the defensive end, and you can see it. He shot 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 4 of 12 from 3, which isn't horrible, but again, it started to ramp up a little bit for the entire team heading into that third, fourth quarter, and even in the overtime. Luka Doncic did shoot 9 of 13 from the field, so again, not a very efficient night from Luka, but he did score 32 points, and trust me, we needed every last one of them. So like I said before, our superstars did kind of carry the load here, but we had some huge performances and some big-time shots from some of our role players as well. The 2 names that come to mind are Dalton Connect and Gabe Vincent. I really got to give a shout-out to Dalton Connect here, man, because considering everything that he's gone through as a rookie, he started off the season really hot, fell into a slump. Now he's getting traded. Now he's not getting traded. And you can tell it impacted his mental. But these last few games, man, you can tell that he's just really, he's getting back to his rhythm. And he understands, like, listen, what's done is done. It's time for me to step up and show my value to this team. And if you watched the game last night, you saw him. He kind of carried our offense for some stretches there. He finished with 11 points. He hit 3 from beyond the arc, 3 out of 7, 4 of 8 from the field. So overall, a pretty efficient night. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, only 1 turnover. Overall, Dalton Connect had a pretty solid game, and he had some big-time shots throughout, kind of in some of those stretches where we just couldn't hit anything. And, of course, Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent finished with 12 points, and he was a perfect 4 of 4 from 3. If you watched the game last night, and I sent out like a couple tweets or on X or whatever, messages on X, and I sent out some things on Threads, and I was just like, Gabe Vincent, bro. Like, Gabe Vincent is, without those shots, we don't win the game, period. He showed exactly why we paid him $30 million and why he wasn't traded. Because, I mean, you guys remember, I'll be the first to tell you, I wrote Gabe Vincent off. I was putting him in pretty much every trade talk that I could because I felt like, you know what, it just didn't work out. We overpaid him. He got over on us. Let's get him out of the purple and gold. But he's shut me up. He proved me wrong, and I couldn't be happier about it. Gabe Vincent was huge last night. And again, like I said, we don't win that game without Gabe's contributions. He was pesky on the defensive end. Jalen Brunson was going off. I mean, he had almost 40 points last night. I believe he had a 40-point double-double. He had 39 points, shot 12 of 13 from the free throw line, 1 of 7 from 3, so it was a pretty tough night for Jalen Brunson from beyond the arc. But again, he was 13 of 26 from the field, and he had 10 assists. So, I mean, Jalen Brunson was just a headache last night, and Gabe Vincent, he was trying to be pesky with him. And, you know, at the end of the day, Gabe Vincent, he had a great game, and he showed up on both ends of the court. Jackson Hayes played well, only had 8 points, but a lot of his contributions was just switchability, you know, guarding the interior and kind of guarding out on the perimeter as well, keeping that energy high. He had 2 huge clutch free throws down the stretch. Overall, we had, obviously, our star players did their job. They did what they do, but we had some big time moments from some role players. And the reason why I think this was such an important win is because if you think about it, the Lakers have now won 8 straight. And throughout that stretch, this was the first time where we genuinely got punched in the mouth. And I mean, we were down pretty much the whole game. And it just wasn't looking good. It was one of those games to where it just had the feeling that we were going to let this one go. Oh, snap. You know, our losing streak is gone. Are we going to lose this game? And it's very important for teams to be tested this way, especially if you have championship aspirations, because you're not going to make it very far in the playoffs without being tested like this. You want to show that resolve. You want to show that grit, that ability to just fight until the very end, until you know that this game isn't over yet. And that's exactly what the Lakers did last night. And that's why I think this was one of the most important games of the season, because one, this came after the trade. So this is quote unquote a new team. We got Luka, we got Dorian Finney-Smith, so on and so forth. And to get punched in the mouth like they did and continue to fight to the end, even into overtime, and find a way to come out with the W, that's what champions are made of. And I don't care what anybody says, we have championship aspirations this year. You can't have LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the team and not have championship aspirations. So honestly, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you got to watch the game, because it was an incredible one. And if you did, let me know in the comments what you think. I almost had a heart attack last night. It wasn't very fun in that aspect, but taking away from the fact that I'm a Lakers fan, if I was just watching the game, it was very entertaining. It was hard fought. It was playoff basketball, really. It definitely felt like a playoff atmosphere. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one.